I was living a very degen life, partying, smoking, drinking, not really doing anything with myself. I came to find Simple Scale. Not seeing any results, but I stayed through it and I just kept driving until finally a fencing contractor. He paid us a 3K PIF initially, so I jumped in 4 months ago and I've collected over like $60,000 in a short span of 4 months.
All right, what's going on, guys? I'm here with one of my clients. Anthony was able to make $19,000 in his first 2 weeks of starting the agency model, and we just kind of want to quickly show you guys the proof of that. So Anthony's going to pop that up here on screen for you.
Last 4 weeks, gross volume 19,000, just under 20K. So yeah, proof's in the pudding. You see it all there. Because Simple Scale has been, a huge help towards all this.
100%. That's cool to hear. So just kind of tell everybody a little bit about you, like just who you are, what you do, what type of people you service, things like that.
My name's Anthony. I'm 21 years old, based in Michigan. Before I jumped into the SMMA scene, I was living a very degen life, partying, smoking, drinking, not really doing anything with myself, working a blue collar job, 9 to 5, go home from work, crack a beer, wake up the next day, rinse and repeat. I knew there was like more to life, right? I've seen other people around me making their own business, like actually having great success with it. So I figured like, why not me? And so I started my journey back in October of 2025. That's when I was like, all right, something's got to happen. Something's got to work. During that time in October 2025, I was like $4,000 in debt, had about $300 left to my name. And I was like, I got to make this work because, I have a daughter that needs to be fed. I quit my job, went all into SMMA, and I knew about it through like some, just the grapevine. And I ended up finding out about Simple Scale through somebody in there. His name is Greg. Shout out to Greg, the GOAT.
Greg the Goat.
Yeah. He referred me to Simple Scale, and I hopped on a call with Dom not even like 3-4 days later. Dom, obviously got me into Simple Scale, spoke with him about it. His course is very structured from beginning to end, whether it's service delivery, sales, just even the small things. You guys go into very in depth about even just the psychological stuff with sales. So it's a very great course.
What made you want to start an agency over like other business models? Or like, did you try anything before the agency, or it was like the kind of the first thing you ever done?
Well, I've tried detailing, right? Very low leverage business model.
Okay.
I hated it. I was getting like 150 per car that I was detailing, and I was like, man, this is not worth it. And then I heard about SMMA through some people in my hometown. I looked into it, and I talked to somebody that was doing it in my hometown, and that's just kind of how things kind of snowballed. I started talking to this guy knew this guy, and then eventually I came to find Simple Scale.
Yeah. What was kind of like the push to start taking action? Because I feel like most people, even in situations like you were prior October, like some people still, they stay stuck and they don't want to actually take action. Like what was the thing that made you want to do that?
There's 2 things I would say. One of them mostly is just going to church, finding God itself. That was a huge driving factor. We are all made in the image of God, and he wants us to be, successful in a certain way. So we each have our own ways. And just knowing that kind of standpoint, and knowing that like I have a daughter, I have a family that I need to take care of, I did not have time to settle around and just like, just sit on my thumb and just do nothing. I had to make something work. So the huge driving factor was just urgency in my lifestyle, not having money, not happy with my situation. That's what really drove me to drive success into my life.
Very cool. I mean, you definitely do have a pretty inspirational story. I'm not trying to glaze, but like, bro, you've worked harder than most people that I've seen ever. Like people who've been doing this for 1-2 years, and like that drive is very motivational. What keeps you doing that? Because it's not like it was like a little bit of a sprint until you started making money and then, kind of got out of the situation, but you're still continuing doing that.
Yeah. Well, what keeps me driven is just honestly the drive to see more from life. Like this is just only the beginning, right? There's levels to this. There's people that they hit like a 20K month and they're like, okay, that's nothing. There's some people that do 20K weeks. I guess just to really test myself and see how far I can go is a huge factor into why I'm keeping up with the inputs and staying consistent.
Did you have to like overcome anything to get to this point?
Of course, mostly mindset. Like business will test you. It's not like I'm just making 20K and everything's all willy-nilly. And so, yeah, I mean, business tests you, and I learn a lot about myself as well as, other people and how the world works.
Is there any kind of doubt in your mind that this wouldn't work? Are you going to keep pushing, or, you know what I mean?
I've seen success, and I don't think it's impossible. I just know that what's required to get to that next step is definitely a lot different from what took me to where I am now. Different systems in place, different sort of actions that I have to take. I'm figuring it out as I go. A great thing to be in Simple Scale because you have people at your disposal, and not in a bad way.
What did the inputs look like to hit that?
So I will set it straight. Like the first 2 weeks of me starting my business, October 1st, was when I got my Go High Level level subscription with your guys' affiliate link. Those first 2 weeks from October 1st to like the 14th, I was waking up every morning, hitting the gym at like 6 in the morning, come home, 8 a.m. I would blast out like 500, 750 SMS, and daily, consistently from 8 a.m. to about 4 p.m. I was setting calls, just setting for 2 weeks, setting up sales calls, nurturing process, having people no-show, setting calls, nurturing process, no-shows. Finally, I got it. I'm like, okay, this is what people like. This is what I should do. I kept learning from my mistakes, and man, it was constant. For 2 weeks, I was like banging my head on the wall, not seeing any results, but I stayed through it and I just kept driving until finally, we still have this client to this day, a fencing contractor, and he's paying us on a monthly basis. He paid us a 3K PIF initially. So once I made that first bit of money, I was like shaking. I was like, wow, this stuff is real.
Was that your first close at 3K PIF?
3K PIF as well.
How did that feel?
The rush was insane. It didn't feel real. I was just like, what the hell? I was so used to just like working for money, right? And then boom, off of a 45-minute call, I just made like $3,000.
How much did like Simple Skill help you do that, especially with the sales aspect of stuff?
A lot. I didn't know much or like how to start. So I definitely went in there. I used your guys' setting script. I made some tweaks to what I found was working and what wasn't working for me. And yeah, you guys were a huge help into actually getting my feet off the ground with the business.
Yeah, cool. So obviously a lot of those clients you kind of lost, and you're kind of telling me this before we even started recording this, is like you don't have a lot of recurring clients. Obviously you still have that guy that was originally with you. What kinds of things are you doing to change a lot of your business into that monthly recurring stuff?
A few things, mostly like reaching out to you and Dom about any sort of help that I have, mostly just networking. So asking people who've already done it, who are already there, how can I do this in order to achieve this? And so you guys to be able to help me has been huge. And we are going to start implementing the things that we've spoke about and how to actually get to that steady recurring revenue.
What makes you not try to figure this out on your own? I feel like so many people are just kind of like, they don't ask questions and things like that.
You're fighting against the masses here. You're fighting against teams. You're fighting against people who work together. If you think you're going to just conquer something alone and be all the lone wolf badass, like best of luck. It doesn't take one person to conquer a lot of stuff, right?
100%. And do you have a team that you're building out?
My current team at the moment, I've got a VA and my business partner on top of our 3 setters. So about like 4 people under me and my partner that help us with the business.
Cool. And where did you find those people? Just like your network or?
Through the grapevine, I have people that know people. I just ask around, hey, do you know any setters? Send them my way.
What surprised you most about your experience and just like the agency model in general?
Oof. That's a good one. How many people actually do this business model, but not many of them see a lot of success, I've noticed. Like there's a lot of people that are in this business model, they want to do it, but they're not seeing success. So that surprised me. I thought everybody that comes in is like printing money. You have to like put in the inputs in order to get the results back out. That's something that surprised me because I used to think like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this guy's making so much money. Really, he's not making like a lot.
Like how does the agency kind of relate to the other aspects of your life? And has it helped you with your other aspects of your life?
Tremendously. It relates to the other aspects of my life in so many ways. Something that I noticed the most would probably just be like conversation skills or like the way I come off towards people. I used to be very antisocial, smoke a lot of weed, didn't talk to nobody. I was just like a bot, right? Being in an agency or just like owning my own agency, being in sales, it really helped me in my day-to-day life with talking to people, networking. For example, I was in the gym the other day and usually I would never talk like this, but I'm talking to people, telling them about what I do. I just got 2 referrals and I'm going to hop on a sales call with one of these guys that I was talking about my service to. He's a contractor himself. So I'm going to pitch him my service and just like that,
Do you have any words to people that are in your previous situation? Maybe they're in that kind of state where it's like not as extreme as yours, but they're almost kind of like comfortable enough so that they don't feel like they need to change.
I do have some words. I guess just like if you give a man comfort, you kill his dreams. Like life is not just going to be handed to you on a silver plate. Maybe if you're a trust fund baby or you got like really rich parents, good for you. But I don't think that as a man or as a woman, that's not a path you should take. Just have things handed to you in life. You should always be out there striving to achieve something new. It's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, making this much amount of money is easy. On the outside looking in, it obviously looks easy, but there is work required. I tell my setters this every day as well. If you just show up every day, disregarding how you feel, you're going to make money. Just be emotionally detached is what I would say and just keep ripping inputs.
What about those people who think that, maybe the agency space is a little bit too saturated or maybe it's like too late to get into it?
I jumped in 4 months ago and I've collected over like $60,000 in a short span of 4 months. It's a needs-based business. You're never going to run out of clients. There's always going to be new contractors. There's always going to be people who need work. That's just what makes this whole country go round. It's not saturated at all.
And what would you tell someone who's maybe thinking about joining Simple Scale?
I would say if you want to make a difference in your life and actually be around people who are successful, who also want to see you succeed, Simple Scale is the place to be. When I first joined, it was nothing but greetings, hype from other people in the community. It made you feel good when you would succeed. It also felt nice being able to show your people like, hey, look what I just did. And it felt nice because I was never able to do that before. It makes you want to go get out, go get some more.
Cool. Now that you have the systems in place, like what does the future kind of look like for you?
We're doing 20K months now. We're trying to get up to, I would say, like 50K months on a recurring basis. So good amount of clients just on a recurring revenue basis. I think I want to hit that by August or September, be in the 50K months. It could come way quicker. I just got to put my foot on the gas and push down. But that's the goal, 50K months, and then venture off into new business models. I was thinking about investing into some real estate and doing some other stuff as well.
Are you going to make changes to your system as far as obviously retention, but like what about like front end stuff and acquiring clients and the way you acquire clients?
I was just signing like whoever, right? And in Simple Scale, when it comes to like the setting process, is protecting your calendar from retards, right? And I didn't do that. And that's kind of the reason for the high churn rate of January is I just signed whoever. I was doing it because I wanted to grow the agency, but I wasn't thinking about the long-term effects of signing somebody like this person. The actionable steps to get to those 50K months, we're going to start running ads here in the next month, B2B ads. So we're getting those scripted out. We're working on recording them and getting ready to launch.
All right, bro. Well, one last question for you is, do you have any words to anybody that could be watching this that is thinking about starting an agency, taking action on their life and, trying to just become a better person in general?
Yeah, of course. I would say do it. I mean, we only got one life here, right? You might as well put yourself to the test to see what you can accomplish. I'm going to tell you, like, the grass is really green on the other side when you put yourself through stuff like that. Life is good. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm in the trenches anymore. I was, right? A few months ago, I was really deep down in the trenches. Now I can just have time freedom, location freedom. I don't got to worry about a boss telling me what to do. I am my own boss. If you want to be in that position of, I guess, power and have some sort of say in your own life, then join Simple Scale. It's that simple. People are in there, they're crushing it, they're winning. Why can't you do it?
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me and go over this stuff. So yeah, we'll probably end it there. Obviously, if there's any questions, I'll link Anthony's Instagram in the description of this video too. Go check him out. I'm sure he'll probably be dropping some sauce here in the agency space soon. But again, thank you, Anthony. I really appreciate your time.
I appreciate you.